In this video, I'm gonna talk about Steamworld Dig 2. Against all expectations, and to the surprise of everyone in the universe, this game is about digging. You are essentially a pickaxe on two legs, and your objective is to dig until you can dig no more. You will accomplish this using a jump button, an attack button, an action button, and a power fist button, the latter of which allows you to fist rocks until they gush into a magnificent explosion. As per all unexpected sequels, the story begins where the previous title left off, in which we learn that the bad guy is not really gone and the hero of this game's predecessor is nowhere to be found. Replacing him is a cuter and more relatable character that also serves as a good excuse to make you start from scratch instead of the fully powered form you had in the previous game. The overall design is the tried and true classic of having a town full of NPCs above the surface and a grand old dungeon down below. The usual destructible blocks are peppered with a sprinkling of enemies and traps, and it takes an average of 3 brain cells to plan ahead well enough so that you can mine the right blocks while taking into consideration that you cannot perform any jump attacks. The game features 3 environments and a half: Basic Mine, Mushroom Cavern, Fire Factory, and a very brief incursion into a spooky metal scrapyard that could have used a lot more airtime, but I guess this is a perfect way to expand upon that place in some inevitable sequel. The marketing department does not even need to lift a finger on this one. The world is a fairly expansive place, and the digging sections are broken up into pieces by way of small and simple puzzles and secret rooms that offer a little challenge to overcome. This is enough to keep a first-timer busy for about 10 hours, although a gold star speedrun of the game is expected to take no more than 2 hours and a half. You are given a lamp to light your way in the underground, and this lamp has a limited lifespan, after which the light goes out and the music changes into the second scariest video game track after Sonic the Hedgehog 5 seconds from drowning. I have wisely chosen not to experiment with how much leeway I get in complete darkness, and I can only assume that all who have tried have subsequently been murdered in real life by an apparition of Freddy Fazbear. The usual routine is to bring precious minerals back from the underground, cash them in, and use that cash to upgrade various pieces of your equipment. One particular mechanic is the cogs system, which can be used to activate or deactivate useful perks, allowing you to create a loadout or a build of sorts. Notably, some perks make the game more difficult on purpose. One problem arises if you prove yourself incompetent at your work, and it is that you lose nearly all of your minerals on death, and there is no way to recover them. Die enough times and you will be reduced to killing the respawning monsters in the early layers of the underground so that you can afford your next upgrade, and the money they give out upon death is nothing but small change when compared to what you can get from finding minerals. To put it another way, dying progressively makes your life a living hell, so avoid that. Replay value is introduced by rating the player on time, money, and a handful of other criteria upon completion, all of which serve as bragging rights and little else. Furthermore, hidden in the world is a gauntlet of excessively difficult challenges that can be completed, once again, for bragging rights, and to satisfy hardcore gamers who cannot play a title without an excuse to stab themselves in the dick. Considering that an overwhelming majority of the game consists of leisurely digging and pleasantly small speed bumps, the gauntlet feels like an attempt at pleasing a crowd that is completely removed from the target audience. In truth, these extra bits can be safely disregarded, seeing as they go against the philosophy of a game centered around exploration and not having to think too hard. You have a story, you have a goal, you move from point A to point B, and as long as the package is well crafted, everyone is happy. The features aimed at Super Meat Boy players and wannabe GDQ champions have likely been requested by a metrics-obsessed executive whose only experience with Twitch.tv is to stare at a pink controller being held by a pair of titties. In short, this game is a steakhouse with 99 cuts of beef and one chicken dish that you should never order.